Hey there, and welcome to Learn WordPress. In this tutorial, you will be learning about the WordPress database. You will learn about the different tables in the WordPress database, what they are used for, and learn about core WordPress functions to use when you want to interact with these database tables. WordPress uses a database to store, retrieve, and display all the contents that you can create on your website. These includes posts, pages, comments, and more. The database is also used to store information about your website's users and various site options that power your site. WordPress uses a database management system called MySQL. MySQL is a free, open-source database management system that is used by many popular web applications. There are a few ways to interact directly with your WordPress database. The majority of local development environments or hosting companies use a free tool called phpMyAdmin. phpMyAdmin is a web-based tool that allows you to interact with your WordPress database using a web browser. An alternative to phpMyAdmin is a tool called Adminer. Adminer is a single PHP file that you can upload to your website, and it provides a similar interface to phpMyAdmin. Some hosting companies and local development environments prefer to use Adminer instead of phpMyAdmin. Finally, if you don't have access to either, you can also install a plugin called SQLBuddy. This is a free WordPress plugin that provides a similar interface to phpMyAdmin and Adminer, but it runs inside your WordPress dashboard. If you do decide to use SQLBuddy, please remember to deactivate and delete the plugin when you are done using it. Leaving it installed on your website is a possible security risk. For the purposes of this tutorial, we will be using phpMyAdmin to interact with the WordPress database. The WordPress database is made of many tables. Each table stores different types of data for your website. Each table has the same prefix, which is defined in the wp-config file. By default, the prefix is wp_. But you can change this to anything you like during the WordPress installation process. Let's start by looking at the most important tables for managing content. The WP Posts table is probably the most important table in a WordPress site, and it stores information about your website's posts, pages, or any other custom post type. Each row in the WP Post table represents a single post. The WP Post meta table allows you to store additional information about each post. The post meta are also often referred to as custom field. The WP Comments table stores information about the comments on your posts and pages. Whenever someone comments on a post or page, this table is where that comment is stored. Each row in the WP Comments table represents a single comment. The WP Comment meta table can store additional information about each comment. The WP Users table stores all the information about your website's users. Each row in the WP Users table represents a single user. Like other meta tables, the WP User meta table can store additional information about each user. For all WordPress database tables, there are functions that you can use to interact with the table. These functions form part of the WordPress database API. All of these functions can be found by using the search feature in the WordPress developer documentation under code reference. Generally, the functions that you can use to interact with the WordPress database all follow a similar pattern. There are an insert function, an update function, and a delete function. These usually have the same name with the prefix WP followed by the action followed by the name of the table. Let's look at these functions for posts, for example. WP insert post is the function to create a new post. WP update post is the function to update an existing post. WP delete post is the function to delete a post. Then there are usually functions to fetch either all the records from a table or a single record. These usually have the same name with the prefix get, followed by either the singular or plural name of the table. So for example, getPosts is the function to fetch a collection of posts, and getPost is the function to fetch a single post. Each of these functions typically has a number of parameters that you can use to filter the results that are returned. Then there are also functions to interact with any meta tables, usually to insert, update, or delete meta fields. These usually have the same name, with the action followed by the singular name of the table, followed by meta. So for example, for post, add post meta is the function to insert a meta field. Similarly, update post meta is the function to update a meta field. Delete post meta is the function to delete a meta field. The WP terms, WP term meta, WP term relationships, and WP term taxonomy tables are the tables that manage the categories and tags in your WordPress site. The WP terms table stores information about your website's terms. Each row in the WP terms table represents a single term. Under the hood, categories and tags are both terms. What determines whether they are a category or a tag is the taxonomy that they are associated with, which is stored in the WP term taxonomy table. The WP term relationships table stores the relationship between terms and their parent objects, be that a post, page, or custom post type. Finally, the WP term meta table can store additional information about each term. Similar to the functions to interact with posts, comments, and users, there are also functions to interact with terms and taxonomies, which can be found by searching the WordPress code reference for terms or taxonomy. The WP options table stores information about your website settings. Each row in WP options table represents a specific setting. For example, the site URL option stores the URL of your website, and the blog description option stores the tagline of your website. The WP options table also stores information about your website's active theme and active plugins. Data is stored in WP options table using a key value format. The key is the name of the option and the value is the value of the option. It is also possible to store serialized data in the WP options table. Serialized data is a string that contains multiple values. Serialized data is often used to store arrays and objects of data. The Options API is typically used along with the Settings API to create setting pages for the WordPress dashboard, either via code, plugin, and themes. The Options API provides functions to interact with the WP options table like add option, update option, and delete option. The WP links table stores information about your website's links. Each row in the WP links table represents a single link. Links was a feature that was removed from WordPress in version 3.5. However, the WP links table is still included in WordPress database for backwards compatibility. And it is still possible to add links to your website using the Links Manager plugin. And that wraps up the overview of the WordPress database. Happy coding!